name is Tony Mattar. I'm a church planter in the city of Seattle, planted a church called Venture Seattle.
This is Dr. Brandon Beals. My wife and I are the founding and lead pastors at Venture Church in the Seattle area, and you are listening to Pastors Unfiltered.
We're having all night revival.
Why'd you spray all that cologne?
It smells awesome.
No.
Hey, it smelled like vomit.
It smells like hickory wood in here, and you know those gals at Nordstrom when you walk by and they just start spraying it right in front of you without your consent? That's what happened in here.
Hey, that is Tom Ford cologne. That's like
I don't care who Tom
bougie
Ford
cologne.
is. I don't care. That smells like the bottom
Yeah.
of a grandma's purse.
Tony wants the old school Guess cologne.
Stetson.
Yeah.
All right, let's start the podcast. Hey, welcome to Pastors Unfiltered. I am your co-host, Pastor Tony Mattar, joined by my lovely co-host, the Reverend, the Doctor, the Adjunct Professor, and soon to be someday, I don't know, Grandpa.
Okay. I claim
Brandon
that.
Lee Beals.
I claim that in Jesus'
Yes,
name.
We're speaking that.
Are you aware that today is my daughter and son-in-law's third wedding anniversary?
Oh, happy anniversary.
To Ben and Rachel, yep.
Third
3 years
3
of
years.
happily wedded bliss. And we're all in the family text. We're all congratulating them,
Oh, fun.
telling them we're proud of them.
Fun.
And I was like, all right, I'm ready for grandkids now.
Whoa. Okay, it's there. We're happening. All right.
I'd like to point out that Judah has 3 empty and half-empty water bottles in front of him, Tony.
Well, Judah cares a lot.
What for?
He cares a lot about his kidneys.
Have you ever thought about finishing one before you open another one?
Well, on his defense, he was filling up our water cups. Hey, before we even move on, let's just introduce our special guest, pastor on staff, campus pastor, might I add, Justin Farley. Welcome back, Justin.
Thank you for having me.
Good to have you.
Thank you.
Does this mean he gets to be included in the bantering?
He's in the bantering. That's
All
why
right.
we have him. Okay, so let's talk through a few things, and then we'll move into Justin's story here. Number one, you and I attended a country wedding on Saturday. That
We
was
did.
the first time I've ever attended a country wedding.
The other fun thing is Tanner and Maddie also got married
Okay.
same time, and they were doing a country wedding too. Apparently it's
Yes.
a thing,
Yeah.
and I'm all for it. I'm in. Let's do
Cool.
it. The best part about that particular wedding that you're talking about is I'm not sure how I got included in the text stream, but I knew that the bride really wanted cows at the wedding.
Yep.
And she asked Leslie Davis,
Yeah.
who is one of the most organized plus get it done people I know.
Mhm.
She asked Leslie to be her wedding coordinator. And so Leslie's mission was cows. And so Leslie, of course, gets cows. And right as I drove into the middle of nowhere to go to this wedding, the cows were just standing in the front right as you drive by, like
They're right
greeting
behind us.
everyone.
I know. The Blue Angels flew over us 5 minutes before the
I couldn't.
ceremony. It was
Only
amazing.
Leslie sets that type of
Did
stuff
she
up.
actually set that part up?
I think so. I don't really think so, but I'm going to give her the credit. I knew that it was a Leslie Davis wedding when I walked in and I saw all these different women that are all, by the way, some of the most organized women I know, get it done women I know,
Yeah.
all wearing headsets and pointing and barking orders.
Oh, man.
and
It was like a scene out of The Devil Wears Prada.
it
You're not going to Milan.
really was a scene from The Devil Wears Prada.
You're not going to Paris.
Justin, have you seen the movie Devil Wears Prada?
I haven't. No,
It's really a great movie. It's really funny.
it's on my list.
Hey, watch it as you fly home
Okay.
or drive
Alright,
home.
or drive
Justin,
home.
are
While I
you
drive,
a
I'll-
big country guy?
The exact opposite.
Praise God.
Yeah. It's
finally
like,
you
it's
and I
like
agree
the-
on something.
It's like the cats of music.
Thank
So
God.
Necessary.
What is the absolute opposite of country?
Rap.
Homeless in Seattle?
You mean something to listen to that's good? Like indie rock?
Well, he's talking about country in general.
oh, like,
are you
oh,
anti-country western? And you said you're the opposite. So I'm like, is that like, what does that equal?
I don't know. I mean, I do a lot of weddings, officiate a lot of weddings. So as long as they're organized, I'm not picky.
The best part about this wedding is Tony was the officiant, and everybody, we were all even told as guests to wear something country. Justin Lamb, the groom's dad, wore a country shirt with pearl buttons.
Nice.
Looked totally out of his comfort zone. Not Tony. Tony struts out in
Armani.
little polo shirt.
Nice.
They said, don't
His
wear a
bald
suit.
head, sweating.
They said, don't wear a suit, but don't underdress. Do casual. They said the
That's
theme
tough.
was casual cowboy chic.
Okay.
What the heck is that?
No.
So I drove 45 minutes to the middle of nowhere in Maltby
Yeah.
to find this. It wasn't Maltby, it was Duval.
Duval. And
Oh, yeah.
dude, it was
Oh,
a
yeah.
mile-long road of rocks.
Yeah,
Unpaved.
once you get into Duval. So it took 45 minutes to get there. And again, I love Miles and Jenna, and they're amazing young couple. 45 minutes to get there. We get there early. You sit down. Blue Angels fly over. People are from everywhere. Tony starts the ceremony, gives us all these orders, which, Tony was following Leslie's orders. We were all required to put our cell phones away.
Yep.
And we
Oh,
all
yeah.
knew that if we, because, they say that sometimes at weddings and no one ever listens,
Yeah.
but everyone listened because everyone was afraid of Leslie. So we all put our phones away. Then Tony orders us all to look straight ahead. We're not allowed to turn around and look at the bride.
Wow.
I'm not sure why.
These are all given orders. And then the other order was, I have to keep it under 15 minutes or less.
Okay.
So I asked, can I mention the name of Jesus? And they said, of course. I said, all right. So 15 minutes or less. And we did this wedding. And then,
Let's go to that.
what?
The minute the entire wedding, from the moment
The ceremony.
the people start, bridesmaids and groomsmen start
Yeah.
walking in. So if you started the clock then,
Yeah.
to the time everybody was leaving, it was 12 minutes.
Wow.
This is the fastest. Remember, we drove 45 minutes to be there.
Oh yeah.
Listen, Leslie puts the fear of God in me. What am I supposed to do? What was I supposed to do? Share a sermon up there?
Then my favorite part
Whatever,
of the
yeah.
whole event is I'm going around, hugging on the parents, and I know all these parents, and I knew a lot of the people there. And as I'm like being Pastor Brandon, I look out and Tony's like driving away.
I'm a disciple of Brandon Beals.
He's
Nice.
like,
I leave. I don't stay for
peace,
weddings.
did my part.
Did my
I'm out.
part.
I have 4 weddings I have to do this summer. I don't stay for weddings.
Yeah.
I
get it.
have to stay for my kid's pastor's wedding
Yeah.
because she's
Different
marrying. Yeah,
expectation.
that's different.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna stay for her. But no, I don't do weddings.
Yeah.
I
get
don't.
it.
They take up your entire Saturday. You also have to give up in the evening before. I'm not staying.
Here's one of the reasons that I think pastors need to really consider if they're going to stay for the reception afterwards. And pastors, because you're the only other person that's up front, and especially like we have a tradition at all of our venture weddings, we tell the story,
Mhm.
kind of like we've done it for 20 years. And that always makes the wedding really unique for people that have never done a venture wedding before.
Sure.
And all the people want to do at the reception is talk to the minister.
Yeah.
I actually
Yeah.
think we take away attention from the bride and groom when we're there.
Yeah.
So I actually think we
Uh,
do them a favor by not being there
No.
because it is not about us at all.
No lie, the few weddings I've done before, especially I've done weddings for my friends who don't follow Jesus. People sit and just open up to you at the wedding, and
You-
obviously there's alcohol too. So like they're emotional, they're maybe a little buzzed, and dude, it happens every time.
I think
it
you
really
become
does.
a distraction.
You do, yeah.
So,
Get out.
That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it.
Okay, 2 more things. Sorry, contractors at our building right now. 2 more things. Naked Gun, Liam Neeson. I didn't know, number 1, he still does movies. And number 2, Pamela Anderson, she's still around.
I didn't recognize that she's had a lot of plastic surgery. She does not look the same.
She doesn't wear makeup anymore.
She doesn't?
No, I think that's the thing. No makeup.
Why?
I don't know.
I mean, good for her.
Yeah.
Well,
Good for
I
her.
went to see that movie because Sean and Rebecca King on King Size Movie Reviews both said go see it. In fact, after the revival night service, I went up to Rebecca and said, "Hey, did you really like that Naked Gun movie?" And she said, "Yes, I did." So I thought, I don't trust Sean because he likes every movie, even terrible movies. He liked Morbius, for example, so that like says a lot. So I went to see the movie on Monday.
He loved Madam Web.
And yes, he liked Madam Web. Done. 20 minutes into the movie, I fell asleep. I woke up an hour later.
Oh.
I don't have a clue what was going on. Apparently,
Oh.
it was they were in some stadium.
Oh,
And I looked around and I thought, I don't know what's happening. So I grabbed my stuff and left.
Oh,
wow.
okay.
You pulled a Tony at the wedding.
Yeah.
Justin, what's the last movie you saw recently?
Ooh. I don't remember, to be honest.
Yeah,
I-
because you're a big movie.
But the Naked
show guy.
Gun, that's like my childhood.
Yeah.
My dad watched all.
Did
those
you
old
see the new
movies.
one?
I haven't seen the new one yet, so you just saved me.
Well,
I don't. Think
I
that'd be
loved the old ones.
theater-worthy for me. Yeah.
Did you watch Superman yet?
Oh yeah.
What'd you think?
I mean, I saw Superman the moment I got out on vacation. I was there.
Yeah.
That's my childhood.
Yeah.
So
Excellent.
yeah, it's
Excellent
just
film.
it's what it's supposed to be.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed it actually.
Okay,
I like both.
last week, Tony and I had a really big debate. Well, not amongst each other, we agreed, but
Yeah.
with many of our listeners.
Yeah.
Because we thought Superman was far better than Fantastic Four.
I think far different.
I
Yeah.
just thought it was more fun.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's-
I thought it was. I thought it was just. So the thing about, so I love movies. I love movie theaters. They're my safe place. Like I
The
used
only
to
person
pastor a
that,
church.
that watches movies more than him is Sean King.
I love movies.
Probably Ethan, my associate, goes about 4 times a week.
So my wife hates going to movies. So
Mhm.
I have to select the ones I want to go see in the theater. So Superman and Fantastic Four were like non-negotiables. We're going.
Hey, we're going to ask you a real controversial question at the end of the pod today.
Perfect.
Okay.
I love controversy.
Well, we had some controversy last week, and last week Ibars did great. He was an excellent. Okay, Justin, well, it's a pleasure.
Thought we were going to talk about the NFL.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about the NFL. I mean, sure. What do you want to say? I think the Raiders. You want to talk about the Raiders?
I mean, sure. I'm going to tomorrow night.
Yep.
Raiders are playing the Seahawks for a preseason game.
Yep.
I put a shout out on my Facebook if there was anybody that had tickets that they wanted to hook me up with. And then I quickly remembered that it was preseason, and so I was offered 50 tickets. So I do thank all of you that offered me free tickets. That was great. I'm going to be proudly wearing my Raiders Geno Smith jersey while I'm there.
Come on.
I wore that at the revival night,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm standing in the lobby greeting everybody. And Richard McNair comes up, stares at me, looks me up and down, and says, "You're not going to wear this out there, are you?" It had nothing to do with it being a Raiders jersey. It had everything to do with I wasn't wearing a suit. How often do you get in trouble from Richard by what you're wearing?
Richard spoke on Sunday at the church, and because I made him speak, he started out the sermon by saying, "I think this is elder abuse." He literally said that to the church.
Making him speak?
Yeah. But he was giggling.
That's a good one-liner.
This is elder abuse.
Um,
I think the Hawks are going to do great. Justin, are you a Hawks guy?
I like the Hawks.
Or are you a Chargers, Rams?
I'm more of a Dodgers guy, but if you want to make me watch the NFL, it'll be Seahawks. Yeah.
The best thing about Justin, you know how I'm constantly sending you reels about Gen X?
Yeah,
You
they're
love
so lame.
it? He is constantly sending me reels about the Dodgers.
Oh, you're not the only one.
Yes.
Who has more ruptured testicles, the Dodgers or the Mariners?
Mariners have the record.
I know.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Well, Justin, let's dive into your story today.
Yeah.
Good.
Good segue.
Yeah, it is.
This is the way we roll.
Things get ruptured around here.
Have you noticed that Tony is honoring Christian Lindbergh?
This is my CL hat.
Oh,
Remember when
so
we
I
went to
didn't know
City
it.
Light?
No, I didn't know what CL stood for. Yeah.
Okay, there's a problem with the spraying of cologne on the mic.
Dude, it won't leave the room now.
No.
It's in your water?
It got sprayed in
Oh,
my
my
water.
gosh.
I just drank it.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, let's get back to Justin's story.
Justin, we had you on here last year with Amanda, and we talked about planting the church and starting in Spokane, which...
Give us an update. How's church going?
How's Spokane going?
Yeah, it's what I love. I just love the fact that we're just 5 minutes away from where we live and where I teach. It's our neighborhood, so we really want to do what Pastor Brandon and I have always said is to plant our hearts in a neighborhood and to really love that neighborhood well. And we're starting to see people finally reaching people. Our prayer moving from up to the South Hill from the valley, it just was a transition. It was a kind of almost a relaunch. And so we're just continuing to pray that we can be salt and light on South Hill of Spokane.
I love it. Awesome.
So it's been fun.
Great. And you guys have a venue that you're meeting at and out of school.
Yeah. Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Great.
Yep.
Awesome.
So, and for whatever reason, well, I think I know one of our leadership team, 2 of our leadership team members are from the Air Force, and they're just inviters. They're just disciples making disciples.
That's awesome.
So a lot of people are from the Air Force coming up. It's fun.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Someone just buzzed into your door. Justin, I think a lot of people, they know of you and Amanda, but they don't know maybe necessarily you personally. And then, one of the reasons why we wanted to bring you on today is so you could share your story. It's got beautiful story of heartache and redemption. And I would love to hear your story today, man.
Yeah, I'm going to do a series. I just finished the sermon schedule in fact, I emailed it out to you guys, so you
Yeah,
guys all just got
looks
it.
great.
But I did the sermon schedule all the way through 2026, and not this fall, but next fall, we'll do a series through Ezra and Nehemiah. And I just love the title that I came up with for the series, From Ruins to Revival.
Yeah.
And that really is kind of your story, too.
Getting there. Yeah, it is. It's getting there. It was 8 years ago, last February. The church that we had planted, it was 5 years into the plant, Tri-Cities, and it was my dream. Honestly, I thought that was going to be the church I planted and pastored the rest of my life. And church was just taking off, turning a corner, healthier than ever before. The home wasn't. The last 2-3 years leading in that 5-year mark, and went to a counseling session with my wife and she said the words I thought I would never hear. She said I had 3 hours to leave our home. And so through that process.
And you had no clue that anything like that was coming.
I probably should have, Brandon. I should have, but and people always jumped to the worst case scenario. I mean, I was a presbyter at the time in our denomination. I was heavily involved in the church planting piece of our network. I was really good at praying for everyone in our church and our community. My friend used to tell me, he's a Foursquare pastor in the Tri-Cities. He said, Justin, you were so busy living the mission in the Tri-Cities that you forgot that Jesus was still on mission in your heart. I think that was really the hard part. I didn't do anything immoral or unethical.
Yeah.
But what I did was I just neglected loving my wife the way that Christ loves the church. And there was hurt there. And what someone does with that hurt, you can't control, right? And so that's between, those individuals and Jesus. And so I quickly called the district, and it was a phone call you never want to have. They knew it was coming. And one of the leaders at the time, they just said, hey, we need you to step back, not down from the church.
So they knew it was coming?
They did. Yeah. They had a heads up.
Okay.
I did not have the heads up.
Small world, isn't it?
Yeah. And so they said to me, you can step back from the church, not down, 3 months, see what Jesus can do. And
just take a little break and
or sabbatical, basically. Let's go get help, in Seattle and in Akron, Ohio. Work on yourself, maybe work on your marriage. And I said to them, I'd rather resign today and go home. And they said that's not an option, unfortunately, at the present scenario. So I took a 3-month, 4-month sabbatical. There was no movement in the marriage. And so they chose to move to Spokane. So I wanted to follow to fight for my marriage and to, just be the best dad I could be. And so that was kind of the beginning of a whole new life because, man, you spend 20 years where your identity is tied into being married. You're a husband, you're a father, and you're a pastor. And even the roles that you have within a network, I think I took my identity from that a little bit, all stripped. And I go back, like I had nothing. And
so was it at that moment that you resigned the church?
Oh, I had to. Yeah, I had to move to Spokane and be with my kids.
Did you have an elder board at that point too? Were they?
We were just hitting. So the day that I resigned was the day we were supposed to go sovereign as a church, and we were also in the process of planting a second campus.
Oh wow!
So yeah, all that was gone, and the church made it a little while after, but that's a whole different story. Yeah, so I moved to Spokane, and honestly, the hardest part was I hadn't gone to church by myself in 20 years. And so I had to go to churches, and I was never under formal discipline because there wasn't a process for this. It was just a marital, issue. And so I wasn't under discipline. There was no formal process. It was just the network trying to help. But once you're out of the church world, there's really no more connection to the network. So they tried to help for a couple of years, and they did. They loved me, but there was no process. But I did have to, for 6 months, I couldn't even pick the church I wanted to go to because they wanted me to be with, certain people or whatever. And it was strange. What
did you do when you stepped out of ministry? I mean, did you have to go?
Yeah. Yeah,
obviously
so
get
that's
a day
the
job
whole-
now.
Yeah, first off, I had to get a job just to have. I had never let go of a job before I had one ever. So, and I'm a father, right? So I got to provide. So I go back to square one. I stock shelves for a few weeks. Then I go into social work. I'm in social work while I get a second master's in education because my ministry degrees only can go so far at that moment. So I work on so I went to Tri-Cities. It's about a year and a half, I think, after the separation that eventually ended up in divorce. I go to the Tri-Cities and I pray and fast for a week. And it was in that time that I wanted to be a teacher. That was what I always wanted to be before I wanted to be a pastor. So I was like, education's my future. I'm never going to pastor again. Even though people said, oh yeah, you're going to pastor again, and we can see there's a call in your life. I'm like, there's no shot that any church will ever, trust this guy. I felt so disqualified. So I was going to go into education, and I met with a lady, an entrepreneur in the Tri-Cities who was going to fund our second plant in Pasco. And I felt so bad that I let her down. This is a year and a half after. I felt so bad. So I met with her over coffee, and I apologized to her that I let her and this neighborhood that we were going to plant a church in down. And she, in the midst of that, she turned it around. All she did was care about me. And she said, so what do you want to do? And I said, honestly, I want to be a teacher, but I just don't see how that's realistic right now. I don't have a lot of, excess income and things. And I moved on. No big deal. So about an hour later, I'm driving home from the Tri-Cities, and she texts me, and she said, how much again was that program that you're looking into? And I said, well, it's out of reach. I texted her the amount. I said, it's out of reach, And I kept on driving. Later on that afternoon, she texted me. She said, you're going to have 3 checks in the mail. We're paying for your master's in full. We believe in what you're doing.
Wow.
Once I graduated with that degree, COVID hit a month later. All the jobs dried up. I ended up teaching in the Tri-Cities, commuting, because I wasn't going to leave my kids in Spokane. I commuted for a whole year. And I ended up being an English and history teacher in the neighborhood that I was going to plant a church 3 years prior. And I got to be a part of that community at least for 1 year. So that was kind of a fun thing.
It's a great reminder that in the middle of the storm, like we preach this going back to like as preachers, we can say stuff really well, but we don't always live it as well.
Yeah.
But it's just that whole sermon where you can be in the middle of the storm, but if you look close enough, Jesus is in the eye of the storm. All the statements that we make that sound cheesy, but they really are true if you look close enough. I mean, so in the middle of hell for you, God brings an angel
100%.
who comes in and says, I got you. Let me cover this. I want to just kind of jump back a little bit, not because I want to open up a can of worms, but I think this would be possibly interesting for some of our listeners. Now, you were AG beforehand. Tony and I are AG, Ventures AG. The AG tends to be very gracious in helping restore people in a lot of different scenarios. I mean, if somebody has a moral failure, you step out of ministry for 2 years, but they'll restore you back into ministry. But it is almost like they decided that, but except for divorce, like divorce is the one that we're going to put a circle around, and we're going to make this so, like, this is almost like the unforgivable AG credential sin. Now, they've made some exceptions, and it really boils down to who you know and things like that, where they'll make exceptions. But that's the big challenging part of this, is that when that happens, you kind of lose everything.
So it wasn't yes and no. It wasn't divorce as much as remarriage. That's where it gets sticky. I'll say this. Every year, those first 2 years, my credentials came up. I wanted to get rid of them because for me, I felt like they were useless. And that's not a statement against the AG. I just felt like I was disqualified. There's still moments on a Sunday morning before I preach where there's a voice in the back of my head that says you shouldn't go up there. I'm still wrestling with that. It's just not as often. But back then, every end of the year, I would email our secretary treasurer and say, hey, I think I should just give these up. And to his credit, he even said to me, like, keep them. You never know what God's going to do. You've done nothing to disqualify yourself in our eyes. The only way this is going to get complicated is if you ever want to remarry. Well, those first 3 or 4 years after the divorce, I had no desire. I mean, I wasn't even in a place where that was on my radar. But where it got messy was then that 3rd year, I thought, man, I do want to keep my credentials. However, I needed a new tribe. because when you're a part of something for as long as I was, and you both are, you will always be seen as, whenever I talk to these gentlemen who loved me and who were really good to me, were shepherds to me, it was always looking back. When guys,
Yeah, they always knew Justin and
yes, and also my story, this time of trauma, right, and brokenness, that branded me, not intentionally, but it's just a part of who I am now. When guys from the Foursquare would drive into town, because I had friends who said, "You got to meet with this guy," they were always talking about tomorrow. They're always talking about, "Hey, I see this in you. God can redeem this," and they're talking about possibilities. I was like, maybe it is time for a new tribe. So I met with the Secretary Treasurer, and he blessed me. In fact, they were so gracious to me in their letter that when I transitioned to Foursquare, I was even able to leap past the committee to works through mostly for people who were divorced, because his letter was so gracious towards me. So I left on good terms. And I wanted a distance from the issue, so it didn't look like I was running away. It was when I was in the Tri-Cities for that year, when I connected with Amanda and we started dating and we started thinking about the future. That's where the Assemblies of God said, remarriage is just not,
that's
how
where
we
it gets
roll.
problematic.
That's where we had to walk through a process. And I was already Foursquare, and I really had no desire to go back. But the AG is like the mob. You try to leave, they just pull you right back in. And so in that moment, I had to advocate for Amanda to keep her credentials. And unfortunately, it just didn't work under their present governance. So she also went Foursquare. So that's how it all happened.
Yeah, it's again now 20 years leading Venture. I served as a presbyter actually along with you. I don't even know how long it was, maybe 6 years. I think I did a term and a half. How long is a term?
3, I think. I think I was in my second term when everything happened. Yeah,
Okay,
so I was a term and a
it
half
was
as well.
so if it's 3 years, so I did it, 5 years.
Yeah.
I was a presbyter. But really, what has put me like in the know of everything that's going on is pastoring one of the largest churches in the region. It is amazing to me the amount of people that have gone through a divorce, and again, they didn't want to; it just happened.
Yeah.
And to a person, they all want to be remarried. Like it's not like they're thinking, you know what, I'm going to be single the rest of my life. You think that at some point we would figure this out, Tony. Because what we force people to do is we force people to live single, possibly mess up because we force them to live single or do something in secret. Complicated. Tony, fix it. You're a presbyter now.
And I'll just say on that note, I don't want to honor those that aren't here. I want to be careful, but I will say the sticking point for Amanda staying with the assemblies during that time and justifying the remarriage, I felt like when I was in those interviews, I could not. I really want to. I want to walk in repentance for the part that I played. I want to be able to look at my family, my kids, and show them that I want to trust and obey Jesus. And I should have fought for the marriage a lot sooner. But I can look at them and say, post the separation, I really felt like I wasn't perfect, but I felt like my posture was in a place of repentance. And in that interview process, to follow under the AG guidelines of remarriage, you really have to kind of throw the other party under the bus. And I just couldn't do that. I'll be honest with you, because I felt like it would undo my posture of repentance. I wanted to focus on my part.
Yeah.
And because of that, it didn't follow under the guidelines where the Assemblies of God would stamp that, say, in this instance, then remarriage is okay. And so that's really why we were stuck. But I also would say this, that even to this day, many of those network leaders have been incredibly gracious and compassionate and supportive of me. Even just a few months ago, Don calls me and he does see something in us, and they don't see us as broken. He does want a bright future for us. So I have the utmost respect for them. I really do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, you're now a campus pastor in an AG church.
That's a whole different story. Yeah.
So the church plant that you were leading in the Tri-Cities, that basically it doesn't exist anymore, right?
It went through. That next year was hell. Right.
Yeah, it's really tough.
And then so it took about a couple of years, and they tried, and there was they really did, but it just wasn't. It wasn't really ready for me to resign and resign the way I did.
So obviously you and I were church planting contemporaries too, because we both planted churches, within 5-10 years of each other in the area. The one consistent thing that I've seen over these 20 years as I've reflected back on all the church plants, that churches around that 200 range, if the founding pastor leaves, they have a hard time passing the baton and surviving after that.
Yeah.
And I think we've seen that over and over and over again. So the church ends up closing. You move to Spokane, you end up becoming a teacher. You fall in love with Amanda. You guys get married. Then what happens next?
Well, it actually was sooner than that. So we were dating, and 3 years ago, I proposed, and she said yes. I have no idea why. She says yes, and then 36 hours after that, because I'm still teaching in the Tri-Cities. 36 hours later, Spokane calls, and they said, "You want to be a teacher up here?" I'm like, "Absolutely. My kids are there. I'm staying in Spokane." But I tell Amanda, "You have to resign from your church in Kennewick. I mean, you're moving. So she went from like, I'm getting married to I'm leaving everything for this guy. And that was 36 hours. Shortly after that, you and I were texting. You and Di have been so supportive and encouraging and gracious towards us through our story. And we were talking, and I don't remember if it was me or you. I jokingly said, maybe we should plant a church in the Tri-Cities or Spokane, ha, ha, ha. And I think you answered with, let's do a Zoom call. And I think 2 or 3 Zoom calls turned into us coming up here. And we just knew the moment we stepped foot in this campus and saw the heartbeat of Venture that we wanted to see a like-minded work in the community that we loved. And so you gave us that opportunity. And it also gave us the opportunity for me to be bivocational, to teach full-time and support Amanda. She works the day-to-day, and we pastor together on the South Hill of Spokane.
Yeah, one of the fun, unique things that happened here is because the leadership of our network being so supportive of you guys, but their hands being tied because of, again, I say archaic bylaws that eventually need to be adjusted, that it ended up being a partnership, because I remember the meeting that I had with our superintendent and the Foursquare superintendent.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, hey, this is a campus of Venture. Frankly, we're an autonomously governed church. We can do what we want, but we want to do it with your guys' blessing. And those 2 men were like, okay, it's going to be an AG church with a Foursquare pastor.
Yeah.
We've never done this before. This is the first time ever. So it's a unique thing. It was a unique partnership.
It was. And the Foursquare superintendent, his grandson's in my class at the time. I was teaching the kid. And he even said, to his credit, he said, another Bible-believing church on the South Hill of Spokane that's sharing the gospel, let's go. I mean, and that was their posture. They trusted Venture. They trusted the AG. So it was actually an example of 2 denominations doing it right, putting Jesus first, putting the community first.
Good.
What would you say? Obviously, there's still lessons that you're learning, and you wanted to qualify the ruins to revival by saying, not quite in the revival spot yet, but I at least see it as a possibility. What would you say if you were to talk to somebody who was going through something similar or to what you'd gone through with your marriage?
Yeah.
What are words of advice you would give them?
Man, there's a lot of things that you want to say that don't. If you're in the midst of that storm, none of that stuff really hits right initially. My father, who I was his pastor for 4 years, and in the midst of my lowest moments, he would say to me, he goes, I remember a pastor that looked a lot like you that used to say the exact opposite. And I was like, thanks, Dad, I appreciate that. But I think what I would say is, I preach with a limp now, Pastor Brandon. Like I preach differently. I will never preach about grace the same way I do now. Like I'll never preach about grace the way I did 8 years ago. I know it in a whole different light. But I still preach. I still preach the gospel. And I don't just preach the gospel on a Sunday morning at Venture Spokane. I preach the gospel, hopefully, as I walk in trusting obedience.
Yeah.
And that means as I love my wife as a partner, as I love my kids, because they have been more affected by any of this than I'll ever understand. And I want to love them the way that I'm supposed to love them now. And as I teach in a community, I can't share the gospel openly in a classroom, but I can love people the way that Christ wants me to love them. And I just want to be a leader and a teacher worth following. So I think that's what I would tell them. Preach the gospel, whatever that looks like in your life.
Yeah.
And you might have a limp.
I remember
do it
when
anyways.
I had my anxiety complete break,
Mm-hmm.
and you go through the couple months afterwards are a blur, but when I finally had to get back into the pulpit again,
Mhm.
I didn't feel the same. Like I felt,
Oh, yeah.
I definitely felt like I was preaching with a limp for a
Mhm.
long time. And I remember, and you probably felt this way too, there were the moments I was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to get like my edge back
yeah.
like I had before.
Oh, yeah.
This is just, I'm a different person,
Totally.
a different leader.
Mhm.
And do you feel like you've gotten your edge back?
No, I mean, I've always thought I always think too much of what people think of me. I've always wrestled with that. That insecurity is real, but insecurity is just another form of pride, right? But I wrestle with, there's just moments, it'll hit you. Tony, when I see your story in Seattle, when I hear of other guys who planted in the Tri-Cities and I see them, these new stages, I'm like, man, what could have been? That's probably never going to go away, but it's further, but I also am like, okay, Jesus, but this is the life you've given me now. And it's an act of grace. So I want to enjoy this ride.
I think what you guys did, and again, when I look at the last 20 years and all the church planners that were exceptionally gifted guys, like great leaders like you, that, again, for whatever reason, their churches aren't around anymore.
Mhm.
In those, up until about, again, 5 years ago, we were plowing into ground that was about as rock solid. It was like we were plowing into cement.
Yeah.
And that is, I think, what a lot of you guys did is you guys basically took jackhammers to that cement. Unfortunately, a lot of those guys, after jackhammering the cement, they couldn't stay with it. It was too hard. But what happened is I think you guys plowed the soil that prepared for this kind of new wave of church planners, because now what I'm seeing is everybody's coming in and having success. Like
Yeah.
everything's working for everybody, but you just can't forget about that 15 years where there's no place harder ever anywhere to plant than in the state of Washington.
Well, I think part of that too is, and like I said, I told you already, my heart, that was what had to be dealt with, right? But all of that to say, what attracted me to Venture was that if I could go back to the Tri-Cities and do it over again, I would have been a campus, not a sovereign church right out of the gate. Having a covering and having a church of just that support, it makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
Being a campus there's life that's breathed into you, honestly.
You don't, like, you always say this, like the line that you say about your bylaws of your church is nobody cares about the bylaws until there's a crisis
100%.
and you need to look at them.
Yep.
And then they provide you the covering that you can. And
Yep.
I think there's tons and tons of positives with us doing it together. And
Yeah.
the revival night, I think we all agree that
Yeah.
seeing all of our worship leaders up on stage,
Mhm.
putting together probably the best worship set that maybe Western Washington has seen in a long time.
It's fun.
And I'm including things like One Voice and things like that. I mean, it was like gifted, anointed dudes, top to bottom, and gals. It was killer.
That's cool.
Minus Megan Martin was not up there. She should have been up there too. If it would have had Megan, it would have been like 100%. But the biggest thing is we've had challenges with some of the campuses over the last year or so.
Yeah.
And what has saved the campus to weather the storm, where often, like Church of 200, very often don't weather those storms, has been the oversight.
100%.
Because there's There's a big organization that's able to come in, make decisive decisions, calm everybody down, not have to placate people that are causing storms
Yep.
because you're like, all right, well, we know the finances are going to be tough. If you're going to cause problems, there's the door.
Yep.
And it allows you to, I don't know, kind of have a future and set the thing up. It's positive.
Some of our key leaders came from Venture Palouse. I mean, honestly, that was a beautiful thing that we probably don't celebrate enough is Venture Mill Creek. Because when you plant a campus, Seattle might be a little unique because you're so close. But when you plant a campus, once you plant them, once you send them off, the reward is kind of gone because you don't get to see it as much, you know? But man, when you sent us off, that amazing gift, but then Palouse then sent people, and they're some of our key leadership. And so it was just a beautiful work of the body right there. And we're seeing the reward of all that work that Venture Palouse put into it. So pretty cool.
You have anything you want to say, Tony? You're not sleeping.
No, I
hope
mean
not.
it's a remarkable story.
You just the anointing's hitting you.
I think yeah, thank you. No, and your Tom Ford is hitting me
You want to drink some of it?
so bad. So bad. No, you know, I say all the time, Justin, for years, Pastor Brandon would sit in staff meeting, and it's not often, but sometimes you'd hear him say, "You guys will never understand the weight of it is sitting in this seat. You know,
Yeah.
the pressure of leading something." And
Yeah.
I sit in my staff meetings and I say the same thing now.
Mhm.
And I say, church planting is, I've said this multiple times, it's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Harder than overcoming personal stuff. It is the most difficult. And that's, you know, I don't know how I would have survived had I done it 15 years ago or 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So, you know, I commend the both of you for plowing ground, but
Well, then being
Yeah.
able to how you would have had to do it if you didn't have a campus
Yeah.
structure.
Dude, it's,
I tell guys all the time that I've done just about everything there is other than children's ministry and worship ministry. There's nothing more difficult than planting a church. There's also nothing more fulfilling
Right.
yeah.
than
it's-
planting a church.
That's true.
You know, we just baptized a guy last month who got saved at our church.
Yeah.
He gave his life to Christ at our church. He's being discipled. He's in small groups now. I'm like, that's why I do this. Like,
Yeah.
that's why we started this thing.
Yep.
So I give you credit, Justin. You're extremely humble. Yeah. I think Justin, for you, there's you know, your future's waiting for you. You know, there's more for you, and you know, God loves you. And I think he's also going to just use you mightily in this season too.
Appreciate
Yeah, man.
And the campus needs you. It needs you
It
to be
really
a strong
does.
leader at it. You're key to the future of the campus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one thing I think that I want to just say too is that you going back real quick to when you asked me if there's anything I would say to someone, right? I would say to someone, don't be afraid to pray big, because when you're beaten down, whether you're beating yourself down or
Yeah.
someone else is, you start buying into just small prayers.
Totally.
And I remember distinctly a moment in Sagal, Idaho, on vacation with my kids. Kids leave me high and dry in the middle of the lake because they're teenagers. Right? They don't hang out with dad. They're gone. And so I'm like, I'm stuck. I don't even know if I had a paddle. So I started praying. And it was that moment I had gotten off the phone with a mentor of mine that challenged me to pray. So I started praying. I'm like, you know what? I do want to love someone as a partner again. And I want to love them as Christ loves the church. I want to do this thing the right way. And it was literally just a few weeks later, I'm heading to a wedding, and I had this random idea. Amanda Hamer, Tri-Cities, she could go to a wedding with me. So I called her and asked her to a wedding.
That was your first date?
First date. Someone called her Mrs. Farley at the, that's a terrible first date. Like if someone calls you, the wife. It was awkward, right? But I started dating her that day. She probably waited 3 months to really start dating me. So I was way ahead of the game. But she has been she is literally an answer to prayer. She is literally a gift.
Mm.
And she is the one who carries the weight of this campus in ways that I don't. And it's not that I don't believe me. I want to, and I'm trying to. I've told this to Christian. I think it's hard when you lose something that you love, a church plant and those things. You kind of hold things a little bit further from the heart. It's hard for me sometimes to invest because I'm worried that I'm going to screw things up. But she's the one at night that's getting texts from people in the church who are asking for prayer.
Yeah.
You know, she's the one who's like, let's stop right now and pray. Her heart to pastor this campus, it makes me love her even more. And so I would tell that person, don't be afraid to pray. Because if you would have told me that I'd have a wife and that I'd have kids who are gracious to me and I have a church I get to pastor again, I would have told you there's no way. So thank you to both of you, especially you, Pastor Brandon, because you've given me this opportunity. You and Di gave us an opportunity that I did not deserve. And so that's the type of leader you are. And so I'm grateful. I really am. I wish I would have landed it here in a different way, but I'm grateful where I'm at.
Yeah. No, I don't know what else to add. That was beautiful.
You said you're going to have him break a tie. Why don't we just go to that?
Oh, jeez.
'Cause
Okay.
if I said anything, I'm going to ruin what Justin
well,
said.
Now you're making me be the one who ruins this.
Yeah, but you're the pivoter.
I'm the pivoter. All right. Justin, first off, thank you again for being here.
Thank you for
I
having me.
appreciate it, man. All right. Let's shift gears.
Okay.
Last question.
We got to ask him what he's reading, watching,
Yeah, we'll do
listening
that
to.
too. Okay, bro. You're a California guy, right?
I love
'Cause
the Dodgers.
You love the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
You think there's a chance Dodgers and the Mariners World
So
Series?
can I ask you one question on record on a podcast?
Sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
ask.
If the Mariners win a World Series, would you be gracious enough to allow me to have a sabbatical that's unplanned? Only because it'll be unbearable for me if all the people that I work with that are Mariner fans, I am going to then get everything that I've given, and I know it's justice, but it's also
you need to feel it.
Okay.
Yeah, I will send you videos.
That's
every
the
week.
worst nightmare scenario for me. Is
I
the
can
Mariners
honestly
being the
tell you,
Dodgers.
as
It might happen.
the Mariners are the first sports team that I ever loved.
Yeah.
Just going back to
Yeah.
my 8,
King
9,
Dome.
10 years old. I've loved the Mariners forever.
Mhm.
Huskies close second, but the Mariners always there. And as somebody who's a diehard Mariner fan, something's gonna fall apart.
I don't know, man.
The year they won 116 games and were hands down the best team in all of baseball, I thought they were gonna blow everybody out all the way to the World
Yeah.
Series, and they didn't make the World Series. So there is the side to me that says I think Seattle is just gonna be pumped if they make the World Series.
As they should, because they're the only team left who's never made it.
I know,
They
and it's
need it.
embarrassing.
They need it. I think they are going to. This is the year. I listen. 2
It's
years,
that dumb 5-game first round because they're
True.
not gonna get the bye.
but you have the pitching.
I know they're
No
gonna
one
end
wants
up
to
having
play
to
you.
play the Red Sox in the first round. You just watch.
The Red Sox are trash this
We-
season. They're trash this season. Doesn't matter. They have no hitting.
I'm telling
And
you.
Jake Duran, that's about it.
The Red Sox are the number 1 wild card team.
They
We're
have
number 3.
no pitching. The Blue Jays are who we need to be
They have
terrified
Garrett
of.
Crochet.
Oh,
And the Yankees had a great trade
they're
deadline.
done. They're done.
They're not. They're
They're
coming
cooked.
back, unfortunately.
Are you serious?
I
They
hate
lost
the
last
Yankees.
night.
Listen, the Yankees gave
Well,
me a World Series
Judge
last
isn't
year.
playing
I'm
right
grateful.
now, but-
he's
Judge
coming
is back. He came
Yeah.
back.
I'm grateful for the Yankees because they gave us in the 5th inning what I needed. So
All right,
Anyway.
let's pivot here. Let's pivot. We got to wrap this thing up. I'm hungry. Justin, I'm
Are you going to ask your question?
going to ask the question. Have you had Dick's Drive-In before?
I have. We have a Dick's Drive-In in Spokane, not connected. So there actually is 2.
Is it
It's
as
just a
good as
random-
Ardix?
No.
Okay, so Drive-In. Dick's Drive-In
Okay.
and In-N-Out Burger.
Burger.
Thank you. Which one's better?
Not even close. I mean, it's not even a conversation.
Well, which
It's
one's,
like talking about the Dodgers and the Mariners.
so
It's not
which
even
one's
close.
better? Which one's better?
Dick's.
Drive-In.
Yeah. It's not even close.
Okay.
In-N-Out's a novelty.
It is.
And
It
if
is,
In-N-Out was a franchise like
Yeah.
McDonald's, you wouldn't even think about it.
Is it because you can only find it in certain states?
Yeah, it's
and-
it's a destination. It's sexy.
Random, Cole Hasty, frequent co-host on this podcast,
used to be until he left us.
just did a bunch of question and answer on Instagram. Did you read any of that?
I didn't read any of them.
He ripped Chick-fil-A. He said, my hot take
I saw
is
that.
Chick-fil-A is terrible.
I saw
He's
that.
terrible.
I almost agree.
That was the first time
What
I
a
thought,
menace.
what
What a
happened? I don't really
menace.
like Cole. It's like he was fake the whole time
Yeah,
he was
I don't
here.
like him anymore. What a menace.
No, just totally fake.
That's like saying I love Jack in the Box.
No, it's like lying to us
You
the
need
whole
to be
time, and then
delivered.
we secretly find out that. Anyways,
Whatever.
what are you listening to right now?
Podcast, music.
You know, I'm not a big podcast guy. I do a lot of audiobooks, and I mean,
What audiobook you listening to?
This podcast,
Of course.
you know. But I just read a book on. So I'm a history teacher as well as an English teacher. So I just read a book on the Spokane Indian tribe. I know it's nerd fest, but I just love to hear the history of the community I live in. So I just read a book on the Spokane Indians,
All right.
and it was pretty wild. So and it's cool when you read a book and you're like, I live there, you know, like the hills and yeah. So I think that was probably the last book I read.
Were the settlers terrible to the Spokane Indians?
I think that you could write that script. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What are you watching? As a big movie buff, TV
Well,
buff, what are you watching right now?
I already mentioned Superman. I mean, to me, I would watch that again.
Are you gonna watch Wednesday starting tonight?
I will watch it. My daughter
Wednesday?
watches it. Addams Family. I try to watch some of the things that my kids watch, just so I know what they're watching and I can have conversations
too.
with them. Yeah,
That's my excuse too.
I just
Yeah.
watched.
I really do.
I just watched Stick on Apple TV.
Yeah.
Owen Wilson.
What did you
watch
think
it?
about that?
First 3 episodes were very rough.
Yes.
It ended beautifully.
I agree.
Oh.
Ended
yeah.
beautifully.
I couldn't get
Yeah.
through half of the first episode.
It was really rough. The first 3 episodes.
It gets better.
much better.
So
Mitz
for
is my
me-
favorite
For me,
character.
the bear has been. I
The-
just finished the bear, and
the bear,
It
like
was a
you can get
phenomenal
past-
season.
If you can get past the first 3 episodes, it might be one of the
Your
best
anxiety-
shows ever.
the problem with the bear
It's
is you
too much.
have to lift weights while you watch it because
It's
it's
so
like you gotta
intense.
like get out all the energy.
Well, they do
afterwards.
change though. Some of the storytelling vibe does change over the
The
seasons.
Bear
There's breathers.
is one of the greatest shows
is.
in the last 10 years.
Hands down.
Truly.
Hands down.
Truly.
Yeah.
Well, next week, listeners, we're gonna have a special guest if he officially says yes and will be on the podcast.
He will.
If not, you're gonna get a surprise because it might be me solo because Tony is taking a week sabbatical.
PB's upset I'm not on staff here anymore and I don't get to hang out with him as much. Justin, I have a campus I lead now. I have a
it's-
church, man. We
yeah.
have like people that actually go there.
I remember that
get
first year
that.
at church planning. I got so good at darts.
We don't have 10 people anymore, PB. He thinks we just eat Cheeto Puffs and play darts all day.
Nice.
I wish.
I mean, Ethan is the second day in the office, sends me a picture of this Lego thing he built while he was in the office.
Well, that
He's
was
like-
was built already.
building, though.
He
Team building.
built already that he put in his office.
It's a way better story mine is.
Gosh, I just can't take it
I
anymore.
do envy your
with-
Lego sets. I do envy your Lego sets when you
Gen
post
Xers,
them.
Gen
I love
Xers, they
them.
always just had to have it harder than all of us. You had it harder than all of us. What do you want? A cookie? I don't know what to tell you guys.
Our parents didn't care about us
Okay.
as kids.
It's true.
You got trauma. We all do. Get over
the
it.
generation of secondborns. It's the
See,
Gen X's.
This is why I'd be a terrible therapist. Someone would say, I have trauma. I say, me too. Get out of my office.
I always say I'm a terrible counselor because you come in, I'm anxious 15 minutes into the conversation because I want you out of my office.
Yeah.
And quickly, I have surmised 3 things you need to do. And if you do these 3 things, you'll be better. And then people never do it because what they want to do is just talk about their problems over and over again. Let's get out before I say something else.
All right. In the words of Jerry Seinfeld, just get over it. All right. Thank you, Justin, for being here. Appreciate
Serenity
you.
now.
Serenity now. Judah, thank you again for smiling as usual. Appreciate you. Hey, don't forget to give us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple. If you enjoyed this, we really appreciate your feedback. You can email us podcast@ourventure.church. We hope that today's podcast just encouraged you, blessed you. Justin, if people want to find you on social media, are you there?
Yep. Justin D. Farley.
Justin D. Farley on Instagram. Follow him. You're going to love it. All right. We love you guys. We'll see you next week on Pastors Unfiltered. Don't forget.
Jesus is the hope of the world. Let's make him famous.
Oh my gosh, Arsenal just lost to Villarreal. Arsenal just lost.
Raiders roll.
We're having